Ah, shit. Get your tea and your popcorn because we have hit yet another psychological jackpot. Black mom biracial Tamera Mowry is currently being dragged on the internet right now for quote unquote acting white. And apparently, the way that she is acting white is by creating a tutorial on how to use a comb. So a lot of black women came onto TikTok and they were saying things like, "Oh, I've been using this comb since I was a little girl." And to be 100% honest with you, I will admit that was my first time ever seeing that type of comb in my life. To the point where I actually thought that Tamera created that comb because I know Tamera has a hair accessories line. I follow Tia and Tamera. Like, I follow them closely. I've been following them on their social media for a long time. They are my phenotype twins, so I keep up with them. So I actually thought when I first saw the video that it was Tamera who created this and that this would be like a part of her hair accessories line. But then I saw it said Conair on it, so I was like, oh, it's probably like a collaboration. You know, she's doing a brand deal. She probably got paid, what, $500,000 or $1 million to do a brand deal with Conair. And so she's telling her audience how to use the particular comb from Conair. And TikTok just went into a spiral.
So I'm just hearing the whole controversy behind this three-sided comb about Tamera Mowry, I guess, explaining how to use the comb and all the videos of people saying they never knew how to use the comb. Honey, what do you mean you don't know how to use this comb? This was the comb back in the day when you had a wrap and you was combing your wrap down, or you had your roller set back in the 99s and 2000s. This was the comb. I'm more shocked at the fact that people do not use this comb and don't know about this comb than anything. I don't care about her telling people how to use it. It's the fact that y'all didn't know how to use it. How did it skip a whole generation? All my millennials, Gen Xers, please chime in. That was the comb, right? What do they mean they don't know how to use the comb? I've never heard of somebody not knowing how to use this comb. Please, am I crazy? Because I'm a millennial. And honey, that was the comb. Let me know.
So the internet is outraged with Tamera Mowry yet again because she was demonstrating how to use a three-sided comb. First of all, if we being real, which a lot of y'all aren't on this app, I didn't know how to use the goddamn three-sided comb. That is the one comb in the pack that I don't think nobody fucking uses. That shit stays in the pack. You probably have about 6 of them bitches laying around your house and you've never fucking used that fucking three-sided comb. So when she broke that shit down, I was like, oh, but she sold me. I'm finna go buy a pink comb. Back to my point. Y'all are upset saying, oh, this is so WHITE of you. Oh, wow. Just being real fucking hateful and ignorant, racist, colorist. The same thing that y'all say y'all are against. When white people do it, y'all get on this motherfucking internet and do it to each other as African American people. For years, I have watched how this woman has came on the camera sparingly and told y'all do a lot to me in my comments. Y'all do a lot to me in my DMs. And y'all judge her simply because of who she is married to. But when your mama fucking to make sure that you got when your mama fucking on a white man to make sure that you got shit up under your tree for Christmas, it's okay. When your grandma was fucking on a white man to make sure she had some land, it was okay. She's actually in love with this man. She can't help who she chose to fall in love with. Whenever a black person speaks properly and eloquently, whenever a black person is educated, whenever a black person is at a higher level of success than y'all, a lot of times y'all like to try to throw at them, oh, you're uppity. Oh, you think you're better than me. No, you think that they are better than you.
I'm starting to see why some people was left behind and everybody can't go with this. Why is it revolutionary the way she showed y'all she uses the comb? First, that's not what the comb is originated for. It's just a detangling comb. All three sides is the different levels of detangling. It is the larger side for when you first use it. Then you can move on to the next one and then end with the smallest one. But you could use a comb any way you see fit. And if you didn't see fit to use it before, why would this make you, oh, you rake it back? Did you not see with your own eyes the size of the comb? Were you not able to figure out how to use the comb before now? If not, I question your thought process on anything. I've seen so many videos of people acting like she has like this is eye opening. I'm gonna go dig it out the trash. That's crazy to me that you could look at a comb and say, oh, okay, I don't have a use for this comb. She showed you that, and she barely showed you. She rakes over her hair with a comb, and now it has just changed the way y'all think. I don't know what you were thinking before. Like, we are in danger. Like, y'all are so easily influenced. Now the sale of this comb that's promoted by somebody's husband who's racist, who said her husband's not a racist. Y'all are gullible. Gullible.
There were a ton of women saying, oh, Tamera, black women have been using this type of comb since we were little. This is what we used to use when we had our relaxers. Okay, wait a minute, hold on. So you're admitting that you guys fried your hair into oblivion by using relaxers. Meanwhile, when you see exoticals over here in this space who have relaxers, you guys want to come for them and say that they're just trying to look more ambiguous. You guys accuse exoticals of trying to look, quote unquote, biracial by getting relaxers. But then black women expose themselves underneath Tamera's comment section by agreeing that they used to use these combs back when they had relaxers. So do you see the hypocrisy once again? So it's okay for an unambiguous woman to do whatever she wants with her hair, relaxed, natural, straight, short afro, locks. But as soon as someone who has a light complexion, or as soon as someone who's mixed decides to do something different, or if they decide to make a random tutorial video, suddenly it needs to be scrutinized and criticized. And my question for black women content creators is, okay, is Tamera not like us, or is she still an N-word? Which one is it? Because you guys love throwing mixed race people in and out of blackness. So first they'll try to tell you as a mixed person, hey, your white side won't accept you. So if Tamera's white side won't accept her, then why are you mad that she's making a video, quote unquote, acting white? You have to accept her then. If her white side won't accept her, that means that the black side has to accept her, right? Because that's what a lot of people say. They're like, oh, you couldn't make it in the white community. You couldn't make it in your non-black side. And so that's why you're over here on the black side. Okay, so if that's what Tamera is doing, then guess what? You just have to deal with it. You have to deal with her, quote unquote, acting white. You have to deal with her curly hair and her light skin tone and her benefiting from colorism, texturism, featureism, and mixed race privilege. And you have to deal with her being your representation. Speaking of representation, where was all this energy and vitriol for Tia and Tamera back when the show first came out? Sister, back in like the 80s and 90s. Where was all that vitriol back then? Because when I was growing up, there were millions of unambiguous black girls who loved Tia and Tamera and lived vicariously through them and pretended that they looked like them. So why are you now mad that Tamera's quote-unquote whiteness is showing? Why are you mad that her cultural proximity to whiteness is showing? Oh, and by the way, why are you assuming that if somebody's black, that they automatically use that comb? Because I'm sure there are plenty of other women who are black who have never seen that comb, or they've never used that particular comb. And like I said, I have to be honest, I have never seen that comb that I remember. I didn't know what the third side of the comb was. I didn't know that that was a pick on the other side of the comb, just like how a couple of videos ago, I didn't know what that sponge thing was that they were using on a guy's hair at the barbershop. So why is it that black people are supposed to be a monolith? So apparently, according to black TikTok and black Instagram, if you're black, you're supposed to know about every type of comb. You need to know about all the different hair tools. You need to know about the sponge thing. You need to know about relaxers. You need to know about bonnets. Do you see how their internalized racism is coming out? Because they're assuming that black people are a monolith. Oh, if you're black and you don't know what that comb is, you're not really black. Oh, if you're black and you just discovered that comb, you're not really black. So it's like, okay, she has to be a walking caricature of blackness in order for you to accept her as black. So you're telling me she has to essentially put on cultural blackface and just act like she's shucking and jiving like a stereotypical black person? Do you see how ignorant and anti-black that actually sounds? And then I see a lot of sarcasm. Like I saw a lot of people being sarcastic with Tamera. They're like, we know how to use a comb, Tamera. Black women have been using combs for decades. Okay, well, bitch, a lot of you guys need to learn how to use them properly, because why do we have hundreds of thousands of black women with 4C hair saying that they hate their 4C hair and they can't detangle it? So even with the existence of this magical three-sided comb, that didn't solve the problems in the 4C hair community. That didn't solve the problems with all the Nigerian American girls I see here on YouTube talking shit about their 4C hair. Oh, I can't foresee myself doing that style. Oh, I can't foresee my hair growing that long. Well, why can't you? I mean, you've got this three-sided comb right here. And according to black women in Tamera's comment section, all black women know how to use this. And then remember, just a couple videos ago, there was another black woman saying that black girls have hair down to their knees. Okay, so since you guys all know how to use a comb and have hair down to your knees, then why do we have an entire epidemic of women with 4C hair complaining about not knowing how to do it, despite the existence of combs like this? In fact, you guys just saw my other video where there were hundreds of thousands of black women begging Cardi B to start a hair product line so that they can grow their hair out. But I thought that they all know how to use combs properly. We all know that a lot of women who have 4C hair end up breaking it off and ripping it out because of over manipulation. But now all of a sudden, when Tamera makes a video about a wide tooth comb with 3 sides, now all of a sudden, every black woman in the United States is a hair expert. Suddenly, every black woman knows how to properly care for her hair and grow it out down to her knees. So do you see the flip-flopping? Do you see the selective outrage? And also, my question to the black women who were coming against Tamera, my question to you is, what is the proper way for Tamera Mowry to make a hair tutorial video? What's the proper way for her to make a video about combs? How should she have made a video? Because have you seen how they will complain about us, but they never offer solutions? All they do is just talk shit. They just complain. Oh, you did it wrong. You shouldn't have made that video. You shouldn't have done that. Okay, so then what should she do? When is it okay for a biracial woman to create a hair tutorial video? And by the way, I saw some people and they were like, oh, Tamera, she wasn't trying to connect with her black audience. Okay, so now what? Let's say that Tamera was making that comb video for other biracial women or for non-black women. Okay, now what? Who gonna check her? And why should Tamera Mowry feel obligated to cater to an audience that mistreats her? See, this is why a lot of mixed race people will take their pedestals. They'll take their pedestal, they'll take their platforms, they'll take all the money that they made off of the black community, and they will go elsewhere. Or they will stay in spaces where they're celebrated. A lot of black women say on YouTube, go where you're celebrated, right? Is Tamera Mowry being celebrated by unambiguous black women? Especially when it comes to her natural hair and her tutorials that she's doing? No, she's not being celebrated. So why would you then turn around and be surprised if Tamera Mowry is catering to a white audience? You guys didn't appreciate it, clearly. When she started talking to you about hair, you guys got mad when those 2 biracial Amish girls were talking about hair. But then at the same time, you ignore unambiguous black women who come out with hair care lines all the time. Also, you can obsess over what Tamera Mowry is posting. Meanwhile, the majority of unambiguous mono dark-skinned black women don't even have Tamera's hair texture. And those combs clearly didn't help. If a lot of you guys are still struggling and making videos saying you hate your 4C hair and bragging about your hair being shoulder length, so don't come onto YouTube trying to pretend like, oh, I know what that comb is. Everybody used that comb. That's the comb we used to use back in the day when I had the relaxer. Okay, and then how did your hair turn out, sis? What happened back when you used that comb back in the day when you had a relaxer? What happened after that? Because a lot of black women are complaining that the relaxers are like giving them illnesses or like it's breaking off their hair. Okay, so then which one is it? Do you like this comb or not? Or are you just simply using the comb as a scapegoat so you can attack Tamera? Because that's what it sounds like you're doing. You're literally just trying to pick and choose different things to try to make Tamera fumble. You want her to feel insecure about her blackness. You want her to feel insecure about her non-blackness. And then there are people who were like, oh, well, Tamera, you're out of touch because you married a racist white man. And then they said that the guy was racist because he was talking shit about women on food stamps. Wait a minute. You're mad at Tamera's husband for talking shit about food stamps. Who said that all the people on food stamps are black women? Do you see your own internalized racism coming out? So because somebody talks shit about food stamps, oh, they must be talking about black women. It's actually racist of you to assume that everyone on food stamps is a black woman. So you're exposing yourself. And then for those who feel like, oh, I already know how to use a comb and, I know how to take care of my natural hair as a black woman. Okay, why are you even following Tamera Mowry's hair tutorials then? Why are you following a woman who doesn't have your hair texture? Why are you following a woman who's half white? Oh, and remember how they tried to say that black mom biracials are cool and, they're the good biracials? Well, no, they're not, because Tamera is getting dragged. So having a black mom, that does not protect you from jealousy, hatred, scrutiny, or random criticisms from the unambiguous community. And I've also noticed a stereotype where they like to emphasize the racism of white men when that white man is married to a biracial woman. But then they never talk about the racism that a white man could have against an unambiguous black woman. So they love calling out the flaws in the relationships of women like Tamera and her husband, but they have no smoke and they don't want to call out anything negative about women like Queen of Kings and her abusive husband, who recently went to jail. Which one do you think is potentially more racist, Tamera's husband or the Queen of Kings' husband? And I also saw hundreds of other black women online saying that they also have never seen this comb. And it seems like a lot of those women were fellow millennials. Okay, so then why don't I see black women coming back and apologizing like, oh, hey, Tamera, sorry. I didn't know that there were so many women out there who didn't know about this comb. I don't see them going back and apologizing to Tamera. No, so they literally just dragged Tamera Mowry for no reason. I have never seen Tamera Mowry say anything negative towards the black community at all, ever. I understand if black women get mad at somebody like Cardi B or Erica Mena or somebody who has said controversial things, but Tamera Mowry is literally one of the most unproblematic biracial women that I've ever seen in the industry. And she has a black mom, but clearly none of those things could save her. And then for the people getting mad, like, oh, she's not trying to connect with us, black women, isn't that ironic? So do you see what I mean about how they secretly do want to associate with biracials? They secretly do want to associate with mixed race people. They secretly do want you as the light-skinned person to associate with them. They secretly do want to connect with us. Because when we don't prioritize them, it's almost like they get jealous or mad, like how dare you create a space for yourself and not include unambiguous dark-skinned black women. That's actually what happened over here in the exotical space. People got mad at me because they saw my pretty video editing and how I was showing all these exoticals and all these feminine looking items and stuff. And then they're like, you need to include unambiguous black women. And it's like, why do you want to be included when you don't include biracials? You don't include their stories. You don't include their experiences with colorism, texturism, or featureism. So why do you now get mad when you feel like they're not including you? Do you see the hypocrisy? So this proves the point that I've been making on this channel for years, which is that a lot of the vitriol we see is literally just a combination of both jealousy as well as pure racism against mixed race people. But what do you ladies think? Let me know in the comment section and I'll talk to you next time. Stay pretty, ladies.